Hey, how about it, race fans? Richard Allen of motorsportsreport.net coming at you with one of my richest ramblings. Before I get started with anything else, I know it's a little bit late, but let me wish you a happy new year. Here, I'm doing this on January the 4th, so I'm missing out by a few days, but still, nonetheless, the sentiment's the same. Happy New Year. Hope you have a great 2024. Hope 2023 was good to you, and that 2024 is even better. So, hopefully, that'll be the case for all of us. And that's kind of my theme for this particular little talk that I'm going to do here is can 2024, as far as dirt racing is concerned, live up to 2023? If you look back on it, 2023 is a pretty good year dirt racing wise, at least on the national level. I know there are some issues that are starting to emerge here on regional levels and local levels, and starting to affect some tracks and things like that as we start to see some high profile track closures starting to take place. So hopefully we'll stem that tide during 2024. I hope, or something positive will happen along that line. But look at all that did happen during 2023. This past year, you had a lot of big money races, more big money races than ever in dirt racing. You had several 50,000 to win, 100,000 to win. I remember it's not been that long ago that a 10,000 to win race was kind of the standard. It was kind of the norm, and now we've moved to a point where 25,000 or 50,000 to win are almost commonplace. Once we got going into the schedule last year, almost every week there was a race paying at least that much, whether it be on the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, the World of Outlaw Case Construction Late Model Series, World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, XR Super Series, Castrol Flow Racing Night in America. We had so many tours out there with so many races. Like I said, once the season got going, not only were there big races, but there was just so much to choose from, especially if you have the streaming services. You could watch racing as frequently as you could watch, baseball in the summer because there was so much going on, and those high-paying races became commonplace. And even sprint cars had their turn in $1 million race when Logan Schuchart got the win at Eldora back in midsummer. Just like the late models that had the $1 million race the year before at Eldora, Jonathan Davenport won back then. And sprint car, we're really starting to see a big change in the sprint car world. For so long, the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series just totally dominated that form of racing. You had the All-Star Series, the Circuit of Champions series out there, but it was largely a regional series kind of based around Ohio and Pennsylvania and in that area. And now, and with the World of Outlaws being alone as a national tour for that, but last year we saw the emergence of the High Limit Sprint Car Series. It's co-owned by Brad Sweet and NASCAR driver Kyle Larson. And it ran as solely as a midweek series, just running 10, 12 races or something like that during the year. But they've recently purchased the All-Star Circuit of Champions and now going out on a national tour. And we're seeing all these drivers come out saying, I'm running this one, I'm running that one. And there will be more to come on that. I'm going to write a couple of pieces on what's going on there. Maybe even the High Limit Charter system that they're considering bringing in. So we'll see how that works too. But getting back to the theme of 2023 and asking the question, can 2024 live up to it? Look what happened in 23 as far as race winners are concerned. There have been seasons in dirt late models where you've had one driver like Jonathan Davenport in 15, then there was a stretch there with Brandon Sheppard and Brandon Overton, and then Davenport again, who won a lot of races. But I've really been closely following dirt racing since about 2008, so my memory doesn't go way back into the 80s and 90s like some of you probably does. But there's never a season where we had two drivers that were as dominant as was the case this year, where you had Bobby Pierce winning the World of Outlaws Championship, and winning overall total, won more than 30 races, picked up some really big ones. I know he picked up the North-South 100, as I was there for that. He won some other races that paid 50,000 or more to win as well. So, and then, like I said, wound up as the World of Outlaws champion. Ricky Thornton Jr., He won, Prairie Dirt Classic. He won at Knoxville. He won some big races. He had a total of altogether more than 30 wins too. I don't think we've ever had a season where we had two drivers that were that dominant, not just one, like has been the case in the past sometimes. So sometimes domination is a good thing. It draws interest. People like to watch to see either will that guy keep winning, or in this case, will those guys keep winning, or will somebody finally knock them off? Those are things that draw attention. You probably don't want something like that to go on forever. NASCAR had that season back just a couple of years ago where they had so many different winners, and that's fun too, because then you go to each race wondering who actually has a chance to win, rather than can anybody beat these two guys that just keep winning everything. So we'll see if 2024, what does it offer? Does it provide a greater variety of winners? And still, even with Pearson Thornton winning all the races that they did, the big races were still well divided. Davenport won the Dream, Hudson O'Neal won the World 100. So Brandon Sheppard won the Dirt Track World Championship. So there was a lot of division among the winners, even with all that domination. So that was fun. And of course, we saw the introduction of the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, bringing in their chase for the championship, which ultimately led to Hudson O'Neal being crowned as the champion, even with the season Ricky Thornton Jr. had. That caused quite a stir in the dirt late model world, probably so much so that Lucas has decided to change their format, where it's going to be several races. They're going to do the cutoff at Knoxville this year, and then all the races following Knoxville through the Dirt Track World Championship. You'll have the top four drivers who will just be amassing points, and whoever gets the most points during that final stretch will be the champion. And I know a lot of people question it and they don't like it and all that, but at the same time, you have sponsors putting in tremendous amounts of money. The Lucas Oil champion got $200,000 this year, where Tim McCready back in 21 won the championship. He got $75,000. McCready came in fifth in the standings this year and got $75,000. So there was that much of an increase in the points fund. So I'm sure none of the maybe not everybody loved the format, but I'm sure none of the drivers are giving the money back either. So you got that to go. So we'll see how those big races play out. We'll see how the Lucas situation works out with the new format that they're going to run as well. So, and also, can we keep up the pace with the four late model tours, the four big tours that I mentioned earlier? Can we continue to have those throughout the season, paying out big purses and all this? I know that the Flow Racing Night in America's kind of made a little adjustment to their purse structure so they can pay a little more throughout the field. I believe Lucas and World of Outlaws doing the same. I believe XR is going to also try to do that as well, to pay more to start than trying to just load it all up on the top end, paying some big amount to win. So that's something to watch for in 2024. The overall health of the sport is really the most important thing. And if you're going to load up purses where the winner's going to be getting $50,000 or $100,000, and second place is getting 80% less than that, that's not really good for the sport. I know it's really good for whoever happened to win, but it's not good for the sport as a whole. And I think they're starting to see that. Drivers and teams have really been emphasizing that to the tracks, the promoters, and the series. So we'll see how that all plays out in 24 as well. And can there be that emergence? And on the sprint car side, this is going to be really interesting to see how this goes with High Limits. High Limits got the funding. They, Brad Sweet, a NASCAR driver, as a part owner. So the funding is there, the notoriety is there, and as I said, the drivers are kind of splitting off. Some are saying they go with this tour, and some are saying they're going with that tour. So we'll see what happens, and it's also going to be really interesting. I'm anxious to see how this plays out. High Limit kind of paired up with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series to run a few companion events in kind of the same way the World of Outlaws do at the World Finals in Charlotte, where they kind of all pair up, and you have the sprint cars and the late models all in the same place at the same time. Well, there's going to be a couple of instances this year where the Lucas Oil late models and the High Limit sprint cars are going to be in the same place. I know my sons are looking forward to going to Golden Isles in February, because both of those series are going to be there kind of in late February. So it's going to be interesting to watch all that play out too, and how that pairing goes. If that pairing goes well and grandstands are packed for the combination Lucas Oil late models and high limit sprint cars, then I would expect to see more of it on that side, and probably even see some more of it on the World of Outlaws side too. When they start making out the 2025 schedules later on. But anyway, so like I said, the title is, can 2024 live up to 2023? That remains to be seen, but 23 was a good year. There was a lot positive that happened. Can there be a lot positive happen on 2024? Until we find out. This is Richard Allen of motorsportsreport.net and saying I will see you at the track.